Shalom. First and foremost, I want to give all praises, honor, and glory unto Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Rachakodash. Double honors to the apostles of Great Millstone, and peace and salutations to the Akim who are tuning to these videos. In this video, I wanted to play this news reel of something that happened over here in kind of the Bay Area, Fairfield to be exact. It's kind of going all over social media right now, but I'm going to go ahead and play it.
Information in a frightening incident caught on video in which a stranger demanded to be let inside of a home in Fairfield and then broke in. That man made his first court appearance today, and our crime reporter, Henry Lee, joins us live now from Solano County with more. Henry?
Well, Claudine, we learned that the defendant actually lives behind the family that was targeted, but a motive still isn't known. But bottom line, a prosecutor said in court today that this suspect, a stranger to the family, has, quote, a lot of issues. 29-year-old Jason Nichols made his first court appearance Monday on charges he invaded a home in Fairfield and terrorized a family. He did not enter a plea and appeared calm, just like he was when he first showed up at the home near Burbank Drive on April 7th, as seen on viral videos posted online. The homeowner, who had left the house minutes earlier, doesn't know him and speaks to him through a Ring camera.
Hi there, can you open this door, please?
For what?
I just want to make sure that everything's okay. There seems to be something going on.
What do you mean?
I don't know, I just figured I'd check on something.
I don't know what you want, man. Get out of my house.
Open this fucking door.
The interaction soon becomes even more concerning.
Where's your daughter, man?
What are you talking about?
Where's your daughter? Who's in there with you?
The stranger's wearing a black trench coat and at one point identifies himself as a fictional wizard and private investigator from an urban fantasy series.
My name is Harry Dresden, motherfucker. Open the door. This is my neighborhood.
The resident repeatedly asks him to leave. The man again demands entry with a threat.
No, or I will fucking end you. Do you understand me?
And then this happens. He continues yelling at the top of his lungs and, according to authorities, eventually ends up inside the home after breaking a gate and opening a sliding door. The homeowner's pregnant wife and 5-year-old child are terrified and hide in the garage. The homeowner, meanwhile, rushed back home and confronted the suspect with a shovel. The suspect ended up grabbing the shovel from the resident, and both ended up getting hit in the head with it. Fairfield police arrested Nichols at the scene. He lives behind the family's home, but a motive is not known.
Shocking. Just that.
So yeah, as you can see, Esau Edom is losing it. And I just want to inform you that that household with that guy whose face was blurred was from the Northern Kingdom. Because Jake is basically just down here. And the only thing that's really going to protect you so-called blacks, Latinos, Native Americans, who are the real Hebrew Israelites, is keeping the tenets of Yahweh B'Shem Yahweh Shai, walking the straight and narrow gate, as opposed to the broad gate that everyone else is walking. And if you're not walking that straight and narrow gate, you're liable for anything. All of the evil stuff that basically is going to get ready to be unleashed onto these people, you can get caught into those things. So like, seek Yahweh B'Shem Yahweh Shai now while he may be found, because this could very well be like you in this news article. And just to showcase, let me see. I actually wanted to get Matthew 24 because I'm always going into this chapter a lot because of the things that Yahweh Shai was saying are applying more and more every day. If it's not earthquakes in diverse places, if it's not wars and rumors of wars, it's something else that's written about in this very chapter. But the precept I wanted to get is, let me see. This is Matthew 26. So okay, I meant to say Matthew 24. And this is Matthew 24, and I'm going to start at verse 11, It says, and many false prophets shall rise and deceive many. And a lot of these people in the world that are in the broad gate are wolves in sheep's clothing. Either they're preaching Christ or Buddha or whatever, what have you. But then you do have some amongst the circumcision who preach in the name of Yahushai, saying peace and safety, saying that Jacob's trouble is not a cool thing, for lack of better words, or that these things aren't going to happen. But definitely these things will happen, and they're happening already. They're only going to escalate in magnitude. These things are going to happen more and more, and to the point where you're going to actually see these things firsthand. And so a lot of these people are basically saying peace and safety. But, as the scriptures say, when they say peace and safety, sudden destruction comes, because these people aren't bringing out the actual truth as opposed to what we are saying, because we are actually feeding Yahushai's sheep. We're tending to the flock, telling them basically to get ready, because all these things are about to happen, just more so in magnitude. So from Matthew 24 and continuing on in verse 13, it says, verse 12, it says, and because iniquity shall abound, the love of many shall wax cold. And that's what's taking place right now. People are going to be invading each other's house for the lack of bread or for a lack of reason. But nonetheless, cities are basically just boarded up now. Like it says in the book of Ecclesiastes chapter 12, the grinding is ceasing. The daughters of music is brought low. Nothing is happening in this society that people are basically making a living off of. I did have an article up, but when I tried making this video, it kind of messed up because of all the ads that this news article had. But basically, there was this famous Mexican taqueria in San Francisco called El Faro, and it's closing down. Among all these other restaurants and buildings and places of commerce in San Francisco that are boarded up now. And in the article, they were saying that the main reason that they're doing that is because their rent is hiked, up to hundreds and thousands of dollars. Again, I'm not going to read the article, but you can Google it yourself, because my phone can't handle all the ads when I try to read those certain articles. But it's just showcasing that none of these people are making ends meet. And mind you, Mexican food, like burritos and tacos, that's not a luxurious dish. That's like a very meager meal, and you could eat that and be filled for the whole day. But if you're going to try to open up a taco spot in California specifically, you're going to have to dish out an arm and a leg for some $25 tacos that ain't going to even taste good. So ain't no one out here just buying or anything. The daughters of music is brought low. People are not able to live the life that they used to live, because even the job market is falling down. Stock market is crashing. Everything is crashing. This place is just literally on heavy debt at this point. But just to showcase that all these things is basically Esau, Edom's time of rulership ending. And like it also says in Matthew 24, if it wasn't for the times being shortened, there wouldn't be any flesh to save. But those times are moving quicker for the elect's sake. Because us in this brotherhood, in this ministry, you find the charity that we have amongst each other. You have the actual brotherhood as opposed to the rest of these people. You got families being dismantled. Once the elder of a family member passes away, the one that holds the Thanksgiving dinners and Christmas parties, once grandma dies or auntie dies, ain't no one doing that anymore. And now all these family members are just fighting each other, and they're fending for themselves. You literally got the end of days here in Babylon taking effect everybody, everywhere, including us in this ministry. The only difference of us that are in the straight and narrow is that to our left and our right are our brothers and sisters. We are able to actually survive amongst the chaos down here. Just kind of like with Noah when his family was saved while everything else was being destroyed with the flood. It's the same thing for us in this ministry. But let me read this precept real quick. This is Job 14:5. It says, seeing his days are determined, the number of his months are with thee, that has appointed his bounds that he cannot pass. And it's basically curtain call for Esau Edom. He's got bounds that he can't pass. He's trying to make some crazy self-willed plans to take over the world and establish his new world order agenda, but the Heavenly Father already clocked him out. He's basically off the clock now, and he's just waiting for his judgment. And like I said, man, these times are moving quicker for our sake, because we want these things to happen, because we know that Yahweh Bashim Yahweh Shai will protect us in these days. Let me get this precept in Romans 2 and let me see, I think it was, verse 7, because one thing I was wanted to bring out is that like all these other people, they're preaching for peace and prosperity or heaven or what have you, but us in this ministry, we're actually breaking down these dark parables. We know and understand that we're not doing this so that we can have our kids suffer down here in Babylon, because this place is surely polluted. We know that there is a kingdom to come wherein righteousness dwells, where the Israelites are in rulership, where they're given the laws in their inward parts so that they can have immortality, the sting of death being defeated. And that's what we meditate for. That's the race that we're partaking in. So this is in Romans 2, and I'm going to just get to the point. This is in verse 7. I'll read from verse 6. It says, who will render to every man according to his deeds? Because everyone is going to be judged, whether it's for righteousness or whether it's for wickedness. We want to be judged for the righteous things that we're doing, the charity that we're doing amongst each other, as opposed to the rest of these people in the broad gate. Verse 7, to them who by patient continuance and well-doing seek for glory and honor and immortality, eternal life. And that is only promised to the Israelites, so-called blacks, Latinos, Native Americans, who are the real Hebrew Israelites. And like I referenced in that news article, that person's house who was invaded, who had a pregnant wife, and that crazy Edomite was he broke in. That was I believe it was an Ishakite who was attacked, and basically those are the things that are going to happen to those of the 2/3 who don't have Yahweh Shai as their cornerstone. Because in these last days, the only thing that's going to protect you is to have stable ground and making sure that you have these precepts in your mind. It's literally a spiritual warfare out here, and it's only going to intensify. And last precept I want to read, this is in 2 Esdras 15, and I'm going to I'll start at verse 14. It says, woe to the world and them that dwell therein, for the sword and their destruction draweth nigh, and one people shall stand up and fight against another, and swords in their hands. And so this is really just going an all-out war. Yeah, there's going to be like an actual war with the left and the right over there in the Middle East, in the Valley of Yehoshaphat, but it's going to encompass everybody. You're going to see wars here in America, Egyptian against Egyptian, households against households, and then within the households, you're going to see people fighting each other. So it's literally a fire starting. It's kindled when Yahweh Shai returns. Continuing on, verse 16, it says, for there shall be sedition among men, and invading one another. They shall not regard their kings nor princes, and their course of their actions shall stand in their power. Some propaganda with the fake protests that are basically state funded right now. You got these no kings marches, which they ain't really doing much, but to a point, people are just going to say enough is enough because nothing's happened. That's basically just them closing up the block because the city allowed it. But it's going to get to a point when they're actually going to practice what they preach, if you understand what I mean. So they're not going to regard their kings or princes. These people are still going to vote in the next election, not knowing that basically it's all rigged. These people will have these puppets set up for them to get mad at. Well, really, we're telling you who to get mad at, but they don't understand the actual things that we're saying. Like when we hold up the signs of the Gettys and the DuPonts and the Bush All these high-level Edomites, like the Rothschilds, they don't really consider those things. They just go to whoever they propped up to hate. But it's going to get to a point where they're not going to regard anybody in authority. Kings, mayors, presidents, mayors, governors, you name it. Continuing on, verse 17, it says, "A man shall desire to go into a city and shall not be able. For because of their pride, the city shall be troubled, the houses shall be destroyed, and men shall be afraid." And you're seeing that right now with all these cities and the stores, the malls, boarded up. Like, it's so bad that a taco spot can't stay afloat. And if you Google that taco spot that I referenced, El Faro, it's got its own Wikipedia page. It was basically here in San Francisco for like, I think 60 or 70 years, and they were basically like the main taco spot that you would go to. Well, not anymore. There's no work in Babylon, especially for the Israelites. Continuing on, verse 19, it says, "A man shall have no pity upon his neighbor, but shall destroy their houses with the sword and spoil their goods because of the lack of bread and for great tribulation." So like right now, it's like training. These crazy people are going to go up to your house with shovels, but it's going to get to a point when they're actually going to brandish a sword for the lack of bread, or for whatever reason in their crazy mind that they deem it worthy to break into a person's house. And these things are only going to accelerate. That's why I always say, with all that getting, get understanding. Let me get one more precept just to finish this off on a good note, because these are things to meditate on. Because as the evil days come, we have to meditate more and more in the scriptures. This is Proverbs 3:1. "My son, forget not my law, but let thine heart keep my commandments. For length of days and long life and peace shall they add to thee." Because these things are going to help us to be stable in these last days. Wisdom and knowledge is going to keep us stable. And the fear of the Lord is his treasure. And if you don't have those things, well, then you're not going to have a long life. Your story might end pretty soon. Like, as you see what's happening on the news, you might be that next person in the news video with a blurred face. But with that, I want to give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahushai, Ba'ashem Rokakodash, Shalom Akim.